Welcome to today class of nonlinear vibration. So, today we are going to study different applications of parametrically excited system. So, here we will derive the equation of motion of a parametrically excited plate, and this finite element method also will use in this plate theory. So, that you can know how the equation of motion of a parametrically excited sandwich plate can be derived. And after getting the equation of motion of the parametrically excited system using this finite element method. So, we will see how we can find the parametric instability region using Su method. One method that we will use, that is known as Su method, to determine the parametric instability region. In the last class you have used this Foucault theory, and also you have used this method of multiple scale to find the instability region. So, here we will take a multi degrees of freedom system and later one continuous system to study the instability region and also the response of the parametrically excited system. So, let us start deriving the equation of motion of a parametrically excited sandwich plate. So, already you know a beam or plate, it will be parametrically excited, for example. So, in case of this plate, if it is subjected to, so let us apply this force. We can apply this force, for example, the force P equal to P 0 plus P 1 cos omega t. So, we can apply this force both the side, P equal to P 0 plus P 1 cos omega t. So, you have seen by applying a periodically varying force. So, the system will be subjected to a equation which is similar to that of a Matthew equation. When you are taking a continuous system or multi degrees of freedom system. So, we will, instead of having a single equation, so we will have now multiple equations, and we have to solve these equations simultaneously to find the governing equation of motion of or governing equation of motion, and we will use this Su method to find the instability region. So, this is sandwich plate. So, a normal plate also you can use for this purpose, but here we are using a sandwich plate which find many applications, particularly in space industry or in automobiles or in transportation engineering. So, in many places these sandwich plates find their applications. So, in a simple sandwich plate, so there are 3 layers. So, the top and bottom, they are known as skin layer, top and bottom are known as skin layer, and the middle one is the core layer. So, middle one is the core layer. Generally, if a beam or plate is subjected to bending, so the upper and lower plates are subjected to more stress. So, more material or thick material can be placed at the top and bottom skins, and the middle part can be placed with some lightweight material. So, in this case the core material can be a lightweight material. For example, one can use this viscoelastic material. So, this viscoelastic material may be, so this may be rubber like material. One can put this rubber like material, or one can put this thermocol, PVC, all those type of material which are lightweight can be put in the core layer. In this core layer also one can use this magnetorheological elastomer, MRE, magnetorheological elastomer, and by applying this magnetic field, so one can change the stiffness and damping property. So, whenever it is required. So, either one can have a sandwich plate which may be passive or active. So, today class we are going to study the sandwich plate with this passive type of sandwich plate. So, where we are going to use the Leptodenia pyrotechnica based viscoelastic core. In particularly in this viscoelastic core we use rubber like material. So, in this rubber material we have added this Leptodenia pyrotechnica powder, and we have prepared this core material, and after preparing the core material, then the sandwich plate have been made, and by using that sandwich plate. So, we have done this analysis. So, let us, so particularly we will be interested to know this formulation today class. Those who are interested to know more regarding this fabrication and the experimental parts, so they may read more papers related to the sandwich plate. So, this work is carried out by my PhD student Dr. Rajesh Kumar Ojha. Rajesh Kumar Ojha. So, you can see the paper by Dr. Rajesh Kumar Ojha, who is a faculty member in UCET Bikaner. So, now let us see the formulation. So, in this Leptodenia pyrotechnica based elastomer core. So, this is the core layer in this plate. So, this is the top isotropic and bottom isotropic plates are there. So, you may replace actually this top and bottom skin by many different material. For example, so you may use the composite material or you may use this functionally graded material also. The basic formulation will be remaining same, but they are matrix, different type of matrix will be used in their formulation or their elastic properties will be different. And so, if you know the formulation of this isotropic material, then you can expand that thing to study composite or functionally graded material also. So, let us see by using a isotropic material how we can derive this equation of motion. So, already you know the equation of motion can be derived by using this Lagrange principle or Hamilton principle. To derive this equation of motion using this energy based principle, that is Lagrange or Hamilton principle, first we must find the kinetic energy and potential energy when this plate is vibrating. These different layers are there, these different layers are connected by adhesive. Some basic assumptions has to be made for deriving this equation of motion. Derive, or let us see that the displacement of ith layer of any point and which is at a distance z from the neutral plane. So, in x z and y z direction can be written as u x y z equal to u 0 I minus z into del w x y by del x. That means, so you can see with respect to, so this is the neutral axis. So, this is before deformation, that is undeformed, and this is after deformation, that is deformed. So, you can see this is u 03 and here this is v 03. So, u in axial direction and v in the other direction you can take. So, here u I you can replace it by u 0 I, u 0 I that is in the neutral axis minus z. So, how far it is from the z axis, this is the z direction. If you take a layer a distance at a distance x from the neutral axis, then this in axial direction deformation can be retained by using this equation, that is u 0 I minus z into del w by del x. Similarly, v I you can write equal to v 0 I minus z into del w by del x. So, del w by del x. So, this is del w by del y and this part is your del w by del x, del w by del x. So, w is the displacement in the transverse direction. We may assume this classical theory. So, here we are assuming that in z direction there is no change in the deflection. So, that means at any point along the z direction the displacement is same, displacement is considered to be same. So, the kinetic energy can be, so as we have 3 layer, the kinetic energy you can write it equal to the kinetic energy of the top layer from the bottom layer and for the core part also by taking. So, kinetic energy then can be retained. So, as we have taken the displacement in both x, y and z direction. So, we can have this kinetic energy this way it can be retained. So, it will be half rho 1 h 1, rho 2 h 2, rho 3 h 3 into del w by del t square dx dy. Actually, you can take this is mass. So, half mv square form, the kinetic energy can be retained in this form of half mv square. So, that m, that mass, so mass per, so you can take this rho 1 and h 1. So, rho 1 is the mass per mass per unit volume. So, and h 1 by multiplying this thickness and then this dx dy is the area. So, h 1 into dx dy that will give you the volume. So, rho 1 h 1 into dx dy into, so del w by del t. So, that is the kinetic energy in the z direction. Similarly, kinetic energy in other direction can be also obtained rho 1 h 1 del u 0 1 by del t square plus del 0 v v 0 1 by del t square dx dy. Similarly, so this is for the rho 1 h 1, that is for the top layer, and for the rho 3 h 3 for the bottom layer, and then so we can take the shear also, shear strain shear due to the shear action, that is the rotary inertia also we can take into account, that is I theta dot square. So, this term is half mv square, that is translational, then we can have the rotational thing half I theta dot square, which is can be written in terms of gamma del gamma x z by del t square del gamma z t y z by del t. So, this is for the core layer in dx dy. So, this way the kinetic energy is written. Similarly, we can have the potential energy. So, the potential energy due to all the 3 layers we can write. So, for the skin layer, so this is for the skin layer, that is. So, we know the potential energy can be written as half stress into strain into dV, or it can be written stress into strain into dV, or in terms of strain also we can write. So, as stress by strain equal to d matrix or E. So, in this case, so it can be written half integral epsilon, that is strain transpose of strain matrix into d into epsilon I p into dx dy. Similarly, it can be written. So, we can write for the bottom layer and top layer. So, this is the skin part. So, for the skin part we can write using these two. Then this epsilon I p can be written as del u 0 I by del x, del v 0 I by del y, del. So, this is epsilon x, epsilon y and gamma x y. So, that is del u by del x, del v by del x, and for del gamma it will be del u by del y plus del v by del x. So, that way it can be written del I p. Similarly, d I p can be written using this matrix. So, E I by 1 minus nu square 1 nu y 0 nu y 1 0 0 0 1 minus nu y by 2. So, where nu y is the Poisson's ratio and E is the Young's modulus of the material. Similarly, for the bottom layer, so this is for the top layer, this is for the bottom layer, similar way it can be written. Then we can write the total strain energy, the shear strain energy also for LP RE in xz and yz plane can be written. So, this way it can be written. So, now the total the potential energy of LPRE core for the 3 layered sandwich plate due to shear strain is written in this form. So, gamma for the direct stress we have written in terms of epsilon. So, epsilon E into E or epsilon transpose E into E. Similarly, for the shear it can be written gamma C x z transpose G gamma C x z. So, dx dy plus S 2 by 2 gamma C y z transpose G gamma y z C dx dy. The total potential energy of the 3 layered sandwich plate with LPRE core is written as U equal to U skin plus U core. So, knowing this U skin U core. So, now we can go for the FEM formulation. So, in this FEM formulation the 3 layered LPRE embedded sandwich plate with isotropic skin. So, with isotropic skin can be modeled. So, let us take this isotropic. So, this isotropic skin is modeled with a 4 noded rectangular element. So, each node has 7 degrees of freedom. We have taken each node with 7 degrees of freedom, and here the in plane displacement of the sandwich plate is given by. So, u I we can write that n 1 u 1 I plus n 2 u 2 I, n 2 I 2, n 3 I 3 plus n 4 I 4. Similarly, V can be written. So, u is the axial direction, V is in the transverse direction. So, that is n 1 V 1 or u is in x direction, V is in y direction and W will be in z direction. So, V direction also we have n 1 V 1 V I 1, similarly n 2 V I 2, n 3 V I 3 and n 4 V I 4. So, this way it can be written. W in the transverse direction, so can be written n 5. So, up to 4 you have written there. So, now shape function with 5. So, W equal to N5 W1, N6 del W1 by del x, N7 del W1 by del y, N8 W2 plus N9 del W by del x plus N10 del W2 by del y plus N11 del W3, N12 del W3 by del x plus N13 del W3 by del y, N14 del W4 and plus N15 del W4 by del x plus N16 del W4 by del y. So, this way we can write. So, U1 V1 U3 V3 W. So, U1 V1 is for the top layer, U1 V1, then U3 V3 for the bottom layer, and then W is in the transverse direction. So, transpose can be written as N 5 into 28. So, you just see, so it will be 5 into 28. So, here you have 5 1 2 3 4 5 U1 V1 U3 V3 and W. So, for the core you just see that we have not considered the axial these deformation in x and y direction. So, we have written this thing in terms of these 5 parameters, then we can write this N 5 28 into QE. So, this is 28 cross 1. So, here this QE per node you just see these are the 7 degrees of freedom. So, that is U1n, V1n, U3n, V3n, Wn. So, these are these 5 are displacement, along with that. So, we can take 2 slope or theta. So, del Wn by del x, del Wn by del y. So, this way we have taken 7 degrees of freedom. So, Q contain the 7 degrees of freedom. So, that is U1n, V1n, that is for the top layer, then U3n, V3n for the bottom layer, then Wn in the transverse direction. So, in addition to that, variation of W along x, that is theta x you can write, or you can write this in terms of del Wn by del x comma del Wn by del y. So, using Lagrange principle, the elemental governing equation of motion is obtained as. So, now it can be written in this form m e q e double dot plus k e q e equal to f e. So, here the parameters can be found easily. The global equation of motion can be obtained by assembling this matrix, and finally, it can be written in this form, that is m q double dot plus k q equal to f. Now, here you note that. So, one can apply different boundary conditions. So, in this case, so several different boundary conditions can be taken. For example, the sides may be simply supported, the side may be clamped, the side may be free or a combination of all these 3 conditions. So, one side it may be fixed, other side it may be roller supported, or it may be free, or one side may be clamped and other side may be simply supported. So, there will be many different boundary conditions, and combination of those boundary conditions may be considered for the analysis purpose. In case of parametrically excited system, so till now we have not considered the axial force. So, now we will consider in the next step we will consider the axial force to make the equation parametrically excited. So, now you just see this equation, that is 17 m q double dot plus k q equal to f. So, this is similar to that of a equation of motion of a multi degree of freedom system subjected to force vibration. So, here this Q contains 7 elements. So, already we have seen these 7 elements, that is U1 V1, U3 V3, W and del W by del x and del W by del y. That way, depending on the number of elements, so we can have different number of. So, the size matrix size will goes on increasing. So, here the stiffness matrix K, here it can be noted that this K. So, as we are considering this viscoelastic material, so this viscoelastic material has a property, that is the stiffness property, this K stiffness will be equal to. So, it will have a real part and it will have a complex part K r plus j K I, because this elasticity modulus or E or G what you are considering for in case of the viscoelastic material. For example, the G shear modulus, G can be actually G star it is written. So, G star equal to G plus, or we can write G star equal to 1 plus I eta, or it can be written this is equal to G 1 plus I, this is equal to 1 plus I eta. So, this is I eta G or G 1. So, this is the storage modulus, and this part is known as the loss modulus, and this eta is known as the loss factor. So, eta is known as the loss factor. Before doing this theoretical analysis, one must know by performing experiment one can find the loss factor of the material, and as it contains this loss factor which is as an imaginary term, or it can be this G can be written as a complex number. So, the stiffness matrix contain both real part and the imaginary part. So, K can be written Kr plus J Ki, I or J you can write. So, that is root over minus 1. So, now the dynamic matrix can be found by finding this A equal to M inverse K. So, you just see the eigenvalue of A will contain both real part and imaginary part. So, this lambda equal to lambda r plus j lambda I, or it can be written as lambda r into 1 plus j eta. So, where this eta is known as the loss factor, j equal to root over minus 1. So, here omega, that is the natural frequency of the systems, can be obtained by having the square root of lambda r and eta equal to lambda imaginary by lambda real part. So, this equation can be written in this form also. So, Kr plus j Ki minus omega square m into phi equal to f. This way also one can write this equation, and solving this equation, knowing this K or iterative solver, by using iterative solver one can find this omega, or one can find the eigenvalue of this A matrix to find the eigenvalues, and from that thing frequency and loss factor can be obtained. So, now let us see. So, if it is subjected to this axial loading, compressive loading or tensile loading. So, let us apply a compressive loading in this sandwich plate. So, it is simply supported. So, let us apply a compressive load which is time varying. So, Pt equal to Ps plus Pd cos omega t. So, if it is applied, then in the equation motion what we have derived just now. So, there we can put a work done due to this axial force, which can be written as half integration Pt into del w by del x square dA. So, from this thing, by taking this w and by applying this equation motion, or you can find this thing. So, this is the this work done, you got it. So, after knowing this work done, so you can apply this Hamilton principle also. Hamilton principle, if you recall, so this is equal to integration T1 to T2, it is del L plus del W N C dt, del W N C dt equal to 0. So, by using this Hamilton principle, so one can derive this governing equation of motion. So, the governing equation motion can be obtained. So, this governing equation motion can be written in this form, and here it can be noted that in this governing equation the coefficient of q is a time varying term, that is Pt into kg, Pt into kg is the time varying term. So, that is why this equation is known as a that of a parametrically excited system. So, if this term is not there, that is for the free or force vibration case previously what we have seen, the equation can be written mx m q double dot plus k q equal to 0 or m q double dot plus k q equal to force. But if this compressive loading case is considered in this case, so then this equation will be reduced to this form. So, this form is similar to that of a Matthew-Hill type of equation. So, here to find the parametric instability region, so one can use this modified Su method. So, one can use this modified Su method to find the parametric instability region. So, one can study more regarding this modified Su method. So, this method is nothing but this is the method of averaging. So, by using this method of averaging, one can solve this equation and one can find the instability region. So, previously I told how you can use this method of multiple scales also to find these resonance conditions in case of parametrically excited system, and how you can find the response. Further also today class further also we will see in another system how we can find the instability region by using this method of multiple scales. In case of Su method, so they have given a very simple equation to find the instability region. These instability regions are simple resonance conditions, or this is principal parametric resonance conditions also. This is also known as principal parametric resonance condition. In case of principal parametric resonance condition, this external frequency is nearly equal to twice the natural frequency of the system, and we can obtain the instability region near to 2n. So, this way we can find this instability region. So, here it can be this frequency and here it can be the forcing parameter f, clear. So, by plotting this thing one can find the instability region. So, to find this transition curve or this instability region, so you can use this equation. What is this equation? For principal parametric resonance case, you can find this equation, that is omega bar by 2 minus omega lambda r, that is omega lambda r is the real part of the square, take the square root of the eigenvalue. So, the real part of that is omega lambda r. So, if this omega bar by 2 minus omega lambda r mod of that thing is less than 1 by x mu, so x lambda. So, where this x lambda is written in this form, x lambda is nothing but 4 epsilon square b square lambda r plus b square lambda I divided by omega square lambda r minus 16 omega square lambda I, where this B matrix can be obtained, or B is the element of the matrix this one. Actually first, so now first you have the M matrix, K matrix. So, from that M matrix and K matrix, first find M inverse K. So, that is the A matrix. Now, find the eigenvalue and eigenvector. So, taking this eigenvalue and eigenvector. So, here L1 is the eigenvector of M inverse K. So, this P1, that is the forcing term you know. So, this B equal to minus P1 into L transpose M transpose F L. So, where this L is the eigenvector of M inverse K, L is eigenvector of A inverse K. So, that way you can find the B matrix. So, after getting this B matrix, so you can now you can find this x lambda, and by using this expression here, so you can plot, or one can plot the instability region or the transition curve. So, this transition curve means for a particular value of f, so up to this thing, so the system is stable, then the system becomes unstable, and after that the system is stable. So, if you want to have vibration free system, then you must operate the system in a zone where it is for both value of f and mu f and omega it is stable. So, if you are operating in this zone, so then the system is unstable, the system response becomes unstable. So, this is known as parametric instability region. So, this way, so similarly for combination resonance, so already we know that combination resonance can be of two type. So, one is the sum type and other one is the difference type. So, in case of sum type, one can write this omega bar by 2 minus omega lambda r plus omega nu r. So, here you have to take two frequency. So, omega lambda is one frequency and omega nu is another frequency. That is why this is combination parametric resonance of sum type. So, omega bar by 2 minus omega lambda r plus omega nu r should be less than 1 by 4 xi lambda v. So, where this xi lambda v can be written in this form omega lambda I. So, omega lambda I is the imaginary part of omega. So, omega already I told you. So, this is the square root of lambda. So, this omega lambda I into omega v I divided by 4 omega lambda I into omega v I. So, to the power half into 4 epsilon square b lambda v r b lambda r plus b lambda v I and b v lambda I omega lambda r omega v r. So, this lambda and v are nothing but they correspond to two natural frequency of the system. So, it is the, for example, lambda I can take 1 and V I can take 2. So, it will be omega 1 r, that is the real part of the eigenvalue for the first mode, and omega 2 r, that is the real part of the eigenvalue, square root of the eigenvalue for second mode. So, that way using these two expressions. So, you can note down these expressions and you can write your own code to derive this instability region. So, you can plot this thing. So, for which it becomes a transition curve. Similarly, for combination resonance of difference type. So, for difference type also you can find this way, for the sum type and difference type you can find, and you can write down this equation. So, where you can get this B expression for B also. So, in this particular work, so we have taken this Leptodenia pyrotechnica. So, this is a grass like hops available plentifully in Rajasthan desert. We have taken this Leptodenia pyrotechnica, then we have dried it, and after drying it, then this powder has been made. So, then it has been mixed with the rubber, the synthetic rubber or natural rubber, this is synthetic rubber with these additives. So, then this put in a mold and it is cured. So, after curing that thing, this sandwich core has been formed. So, these are the samples taken for this microstructure analysis and also for getting the material property of this Leptodenia pyrotechnica based sandwich core material. This thing, this loss factor and the shear storage modulus and loss storage modulus have been found out using this instrument. It can be plotted with this different shear stress, and then so it can be observed that the experimental shear storage and loss modulus of LPRE is found to be 2 into 10 to the power 2.01 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal. So, you just see for Leptodenia pyrotechnica it is 2.01 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal, but the for RTB silicon it is 7.38 into 10 to the power 4. So, 7.38 into 10 to the power 4, it is 2.01 into 10 to the power 5. So, that it is almost 3 times. So, by putting this Leptodenia pyrotechnica powder, we have increased the strength of the sandwich panel or sandwich plate by 3 times, or the core material strength can be increased by 3 times. Similarly, the damping property can be checked from this thing from the loss factor. So, the loss factor is 6.62 into 10 to the power 4 Pascal, but for the RTF silicon it is 1.54 into 10 to the power 4. So, you just see, so the loss factor is also increased almost 4 times in this case. So, both the loss factor and the stiffness parameter, that is the stiffness factor are increased by using these Leptodenia pyrotechnica elastomer core. We can study those things for different boundary conditions. So, here these pre and force, initially the pre and force vibration things have been studied by developing a code in MATLAB. So, here the natural frequency and loss factor are determined. So, by finding the eigenvalue of the M inverse K matrix, now you can see how the natural frequency is varying with different thickness ratio H1 by H3. So, similarly, the natural frequency, so for different boundary conditions, effect of the thickness ratio. So, H2 by H3 is considered in this case, and the effect of thickness ratio H1 by H3 is considered in this the first case. H1 by H3, that is top and bottom layer, and H2 by H3, that is for the core material, core to the bottom material. So, that way it can be studied. You can see different modes of first mode, second mode, third mode. So, different mode of vibration of the sandwich plate. These are the mode shapes, different mode shapes one can see. Now, the effect of boundary conditions also one can study. So, for example, SSSS, that means 4 sides are simply supported, CCCC, that is 4 sides are clamped, then CS, one side clamped, next side is simply supported, then the other side is clamped, then simply supported, then F is here free. So, SF. So, one side simply supported, other side free. So, SF, then CF. This is a cantilever type. So, one side is clamped and other 3 sides are free. So, this way one can study the natural frequency effect of natural frequency for different boundary conditions. Those who are interested, they can study more on this thing, that is how the natural frequency is changing with different thickness, also how the core factor loss factor is changing with different thickness ratio. So, all those things one can study, but our purpose is to show you the parametric instability region. So, here you can see parametric instability region is also plotted. So, in this case, instead of using method of multiple scale, we have used the Su method, the formula what I have shown you there, to plot the instability region. So, here this instability region are plotted for 3 value of skin thickness, for example, skin thickness of 1 millimeter, 1.1 millimeter and 1.3 millimeter. You can see for different skin thickness. Now, as the stiffness is changing, by changing the skin thickness, the stiffness parameter of the skin will change. So, this give rise to higher value of this core. So, the natural frequency is shifted to right, that is why this instability region also starts or moves towards right. So, one can plot or one can find the region for which the system is stable and when it is unstable. So, this is instability region for the first mode, that is principal parametric resonance condition of the first mode twice m omega 1. This is principal parametric resonance of second mode twice omega 2, and this is principal parametric resonance condition for third mode, that is 2 omega 3. So, this way one can plot this instability region for different conditions and different boundary conditions also. First case it is plotted for different. So, you can see for this is for SS all sides simply supported. So, here you can verify that. So, in this case you just see, in this case the response is growing, this is for this middle point. So, A, B, C, if you are taking 3 points. So, this is for point A when the response is stable, and this is for point C when the response is unstable also. A and C for these two curves it is stable, but for B the response grows and the system becomes unstable. So, this is it is clearly showing the system is unstable as the response amplitude goes on increasing. So, this way one can study the instability region of a sandwich plate with different conditions. One can consider also different boundary conditions one can consider. So, by considering different boundary conditions, so in the FEM formulation those boundary conditions can be applied, and after applying these boundary conditions, so one can find these eigenvalues and eigenvector, and one can study by using Su method these instability regions. Now, let us see another example. Let us take a parametrically excited, that is base excited cantilever beam with an attached mass. In this case particularly we are going to introduce one more resonance condition, which is known as internal resonance condition. Internal resonance condition. So, here we have a cantilever beam. So, the cantilever is moving up and down. So, when it is moving up and down, then due to slenderness, so this beam moves in the transverse direction. So, if we are taking this angle is phi, you can see that this sin phi can be retained. So, if we are taking this distance s, it can be retained as so dV by ds. So, sin phi will be equal to dV by ds. From that thing the term cos phi can be obtained, and one can write the moment. So, one can derive this equation motion either by using this energy method or by using this method, moment based method, force and moment based method, that is the Newton's second law or D'Alembert principle. So, here taking a small element, different forces can be taken. So, the forces for example, it will be m u double dot, then m u double dot in the axial direction, let the axial direction deflection is u, then in transverse direction it will be m v double dot. We can write this m v double dot and m u double dot. So, that is the inertia force. So, then by taking the movement at a distance s from here, we can get this equation for this movement. Now, differentiating twice this movement equation. So, one can get the equation of motion of the system. Otherwise, one can find first the kinetic energy, then the potential energy, and then this work function W, and then writing this, or this kinetic energy can be written as T. So, now writing this L equal to T minus U, using this Hamilton principle, one can write this is T1 to T2 delta L plus delta W N C dt equal to 0. So, one can find the equation motion and the boundary conditions. The advantage of using this extended Hamilton principle is that one can get the equation motion and the boundary conditions simultaneously by using this Lagrange principle. So, one can obtain the equation motion conveniently, but the boundary conditions one has to decide later. But by using this extended Hamilton principle, one can get both these equation of motion and the boundary conditions. In this case, the equation of motion can be written in this form. So, you just see in this equation. So, if you compare this equation with that of the Euler-Bernoulli beam equation, in Euler-Bernoulli beam equation only this term is there. So, one more term also will be there. This correspond to E I del fourth W by del S fourth. So, this term was there, and another term also you can get, which will be equal to in terms of rho A. So, rho, so this term also was there, rho, you can have another term, that is rho v double dot also will be there, but as we are taking this nonlinear equation of motion. So, we are assuming it to be nonlinear because this phi is, so this phi we are considering not to be very small. So, this phi is not small. If this phi is very small, then you can consider the nonlinear terms will vanish, but for higher value of phi, when the sin phi is not equal to phi, but it will contain other terms. So, that time you must have to expand this equation and you can get these equations. So, you just see, due to presence of all these terms, the equation motion is a nonlinear equation. So, these also contain the nonlinear equation. Now, by taking these parameter, that is non-dimensional parameter x equal to s by L, beta equal to d by L, tau equal to theta 1 t. So, morning in last class also I told you how to use this non-dimensional time parameter. So, tau is the non-dimensional time parameter, which is equal to written here as theta 1 t. Theta 1 is nothing but the coefficient of the linear term, that is q. This way, by taking these all these parameters, so one can get this temporal equation of motion by applying this generalized Galerkin's method. So, one has to apply the generalized Galerkin's principle, or generalized Galerkin's principle or method. Here in this generalized Galerkin's method, one may consider the equation q in this form. Here the equation is written in terms of v. So, all the terms are written in terms of v. So, one can write this v equal to, you just see this is a continuous system and v is a function of both space, that is s, and time t. So, in case of the spring mass system or the muscle parameter, what today we have seen, in all those cases the equation motion is written in terms of a time parameter, that is this x. X is a function of only t, x is a function of only t, but in this case v is a function of both space, that is s, and time t. By using the separable variation method type of thing, so we can write this v equal to summation. So, it will be psi I s into q I t, I equal to 1 to n. So, we can take 1 to infinite also, but limiting this number of modes, we can write I equal to 1 to n, where the psi I s is the shape function, psi I is the shape function, and q I is known as the time modulation, q I is known as time modulation. Now, to apply this generalized Galerkin method, so in this governing equation which is written in space and time, so we can substitute this psi I s and q I t. where the psi I s is the mode shape or it can be any admissible function. So, by putting this admissible function, so as you know that admissible function only satisfy the geometric boundary conditions, it does not satisfy all the boundary conditions, it also does not satisfy the governing equation also. So, in that case by substituting this equation we will have some residue. Now, by minimizing this residue, how you can minimize this residue? So, initially we have to substitute this equation in original equation, then we have to multiply a weight function and integrate it over the length of the beam and equate it to 0 to find the equation which will be reduced to that of a time functions only. So, it will be retained in its temporal form then. So, by using this generalized Galerkin method, this equation of motion is reduced to this form. So, here you just see this equation contain this u n double dot, then this is the inertia term and this is the damping term, this is omega n square u n, then this is the forcing term. Here you can note that this forcing term, this u m, that is the response, the coefficient of response equal to f n m cos phi t. So, that is a time varying term is the coefficient of u m, that is why the system is a parametrically excited equation. Here you just see the number of nonlinear terms. So, these contain the nonlinear term u k, u l, u m. So, this is known as geometric nonlinear parameter, and here this term u k, u l dot and u m dot. So, product of two velocity term is also an acceleration term, here u double dot is there. So, this is also an acceleration term. So, this and these, so they are known as inertia nonlinear term. So, these are inertia nonlinear term. You have here in this case two inertia nonlinear terms and one geometric nonlinear term. This way you can write the equation of motion. So, after writing this equation of motion, you can solve this equation motion by using many methods. So, here let us use this method of multiple scale, scales. To derive the solution and the stability equation. So, here to apply this method of multiple scale, so we can write this u n tau epsilon equal to u n 0 t 0 t 1 plus epsilon u n 1 t 0 t 1. Here we are taking, so already you know that this t n equal to epsilon to the power n t. So, here you are taking non-dimensional time, it is tau. So, this t 0 equal to epsilon to the power 0, that is equal to 1, that is tau, and t 1 equal to epsilon tau. So, we are taking up to 2 time scale. So, t 0 equal to tau and t 1 equal to epsilon tau. So, now substituting this equation in the original equation and separating the terms with different order of epsilon. So, we can have these two equations. So, this is epsilon to the power 0 and this is epsilon to the power 1. So, now the solution of the first one can be written in this form u n 0 equal to a n t 1 e to the power I omega n t 0 plus c c, c c is nothing but the complex conjugate of the preceding term. So, then for n equal to, so you just see for n equal to 1 and 2 you can write in this form, but if n greater than 3, so you just see the equation can be written 2 I omega n zeta n a n. Now, after getting this u n equal to a n e to the power I omega n t 0 plus c c, so you can substitute it in this equation, and after substituting this equation, so you can eliminate the term or eliminate the secular term to get the response. For n greater than 3, so we can see that due to the presence of damping, so the system response will die down. So, it is not required to then consider for n greater than 3. For n less than 3, so these are the secular term. To eliminate the secular term, so we can write down this equation, and here this a n can be written in its polar form, that is half a n e to the power I beta n. So, then to eliminate the secular term, so we have these terms, and here we have substituted these. You just see we have now 4 equations. So, 1 So, this is the this is the first equation, second equation, third equation and fourth equation. So, 2 in terms of, so as you are taking 2 mode. So, in this case you note that we are taking 2 mode. So, you can see another paper by Zavodini and Nafe, where they have considered the same system by considering single mode approximation, and here we have taken 2 mode approximation, and that is why we have 4 equation and they have 2 equations, and the solution can be written in this form. The solution can be written in this form. And for principal parametric resonance condition, so we can take this phi nearly equal to 2 omega 1. So, phi equal to 2 omega 1 plus epsilon sigma 1, and omega 2, here we are considering the internal resonance condition. So, internal resonance condition is nothing but when different modes have integer relationship, then we generally call that system to be internally resonated. So, in this particular case, so we are taking this condition that second mode is 3 times that of the first mode. So, if the second mode is 3 times that of the first mode, putting these equations actually in the previous equation. So, we can see, so there are some terms which are mixed secular term, and they must have to be also eliminated in addition to the secular term. So, the resulting equations you can find this. So, these for n equal to 1, this is the equation, and for n equal to 2, this is the equation, and here by substituting a n equal to half a n e to the power I beta, we can write the reduced equations, and after writing the reduced equation, so then we can find, actually we can check. So, these are the reduced equation actually. So, these are the reduced equation, these 4 are the reduced equation we got, and for n greater than 3 we can see that the due to presence of damping. So, this response tends to 0. So, there will be no response for n greater than equal to 3, and there will be interaction between first mode and second mode due to the presence of this internal resonance condition, that is omega 2 equal to 3 omega plus epsilon sigma 2. Here sigma 1 and sigma 2 are detuning parameter. One can observe that due to the presence of the term a gamma dash. So, you just see, can show this reduced equation. So, in this reduced equation you just see the term a 1 gamma 1 dash. In the first case we have a 1 dash, second case a 1 gamma 1 dash, third case a 2, and fourth case a 2 gamma 2 dash. So, due to presence of this a 1 gamma 1 dash and a 2 gamma 2 dash, if we are considering for example a 10, a 20, gamma 10 and gamma 20 are the steady state response. So, if we perturb these things, so you can see for trivial state. So, this perturbation of this one and this one will no longer be there. So, due to the presence of this coupled term a10 and a20. So, if you perturb this thing, then it will be a first term will be delta a1 into gamma 1 dash, and second term will be a10 into gamma 10 plus delta gamma 1 dash. So, for that thing, this as it is multiplied with this one, this term will be 0. This way, as these will not contain this trivial, for trivial state, as these terms will no longer be there. So, we have to put some transformation. So, here we can put a transformation like this p I and q I, p I equal to a I cos gamma I and q I equal to a I sin gamma I. So, by putting this transformation, so we can write down these 4 equation, and easily you can perturb this equation. So, you can see these equations are written p 1 dash q 1 dash and p 2 dash q 2 dash. So, by perturbing these equations, so you can find the instability region. Now, one such instability region is shown here. So, clearly you can see for different value of response amplitude and frequency the instability region. So, in this case, inside this thing the system response is unstable and outside the system response is stable. So, you can plot various responses also. So, you can find the steady state response by solving those 4 equations. Those 4 equations can be solved by using different methods you can use, but particularly you may be interested to use this Newton's method. So, by using this Newton's method for multiple number of algebraic equations, so you can find the solution. So, here you can observe many different type of bifurcations. For example, this point is Hopf bifurcation and this point. So, you can have a saddle node bifurcation, here also saddle node bifurcation. So, many different type of bifurcations or all sorts of bifurcation points you can find responses. This is with respect to frequency. So, this is frequency response plot, also you can plot the force response plot and the near the Hopf bifurcation. So, you can see by varying the system parameter, you can see the system has a periodic, then 2 periodic, and if you go on changing the system parameter, finally it lands with the chaotic response. So, if you plot the Poincare section, so for periodic, so it is a single point, for 2 periodic it is 2 point. If you goes on doing the Poincare section for different system parameters, so you can conveniently see that the system response becomes chaotic. So, this is period doubling leads to chaos. So, period doubling leads to chaos type of phenomena you can observe in this case. Similarly, you can observe other different type of this chaotic response also. So, here one interior crisis you can observe. So, initially this is the attractor. So, when it is come in contact with the unstable fixed point response, so you can see that this attractor is now inside this bigger attractor. So, this is known as interior crisis. Similarly, you can have this attractor merging. So, single attractor. So, now this attractor merging crisis is occurring in the system. So, these are this cascade of torus doubling route to chaos also you can find. So, initially the response is this is quasi periodic or torus. Now, by changing the system parameter, you can see this is the torus doubling route to chaos. In this way, so you can study different type of instability region, different type of response, and also this chaotic response, crisis, all these things you can study in a simpler system like a beam just excited from the base. Unlike the direct excitation, the parametric excited systems are more complex and their analysis are more and more interesting, and you may study more different types of parametrically excited system and know more about them. So, thank you.